Hey guys, it's Steph from the Moon Podcast. So, I look, the last guy I should have sympathy for. Really nothing against him, but it's Dillion Gabriel, right? The quarterback that the Browns had decided to draft first, ahead of Shedeur Sanders, as they later got Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Okay, and already, social media is already doing comparisons of mini camp already of Dillion Gabriel. Now, look, I am a big supporter of Shedeur Sanders, and I thought that him dropping was absolutely ridiculous. Okay, but it just started mini camp, rookie mini camp. And they're already doing comparisons, and Dillion Gabriel was asked a question, just about like, what do you think about just being in the shadows of Shedeur Sanders, and the comparisons already, right? And he says the more questions I get asked like that, it just divides the team. Gabriel said, we're in a room full of not just us, but Kenny, Joe, and Deshaun. For us, we know how important a healthy room is, but also a team that you want to be a part of. Is Deshaun Watson around the Browns? I have no idea if he is or not. Weird. I mean, I know he re-injured his Achilles, but if he's in the room, what input? He really wasn't all that good. But look, man, Dillion Gabriel is going to be tough. I think, we see, I'm not calling any of this scrutiny, but obviously people really like Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, I like Shedeur Sanders a lot. But when I first talked about this, about Shedeur Sanders going to the Browns, I definitely wasn't going to be the one to be comparing the two or pin these two against each other, right? And I think that, we all like a healthy level of competition. And, there's already reports that saying that, Shedeur Sanders looks a little more sharper at minicamp than Gabriel. You guys can take that for what it is, right? It's just practice, but practice is important. But, good practice doesn't necessarily translate to really, live action gameplay in preseason or when regular season starts, right? Whatever. And this is the type of stuff that I'm assuming teams want to avoid, right? But I also think the Browns did it to themselves. You know what I'm saying? The Browns had their mindset on getting Dillion Gabriel, okay, and then the ownership wanted to have Shedeur Sanders. So therefore, ownership created this circus with the Browns, and I'm not putting any of this on Shedeur. The clips I've seen in Shedeur practice, he looks good. He looks like he's ingratiating himself. Number one, he looks like he's ingratiating himself into the organization, the team, his fellow teammates. He's not causing any headlines whatsoever. All this is Cleveland media doing this. All right. As far as his legendary channel and all his film crew, that's not happening. The last thing he done was an interview for his own YouTube channel, just talking about his experience with the draft and everything. That's about it. And he didn't say anything outrageous in there, right? So, on one hand, you're gonna have people wanting to really nitpick and watch Shedeur Sanders every step to see if he is going to validate any of those red flags that I thought was absolutely nonsense. And then on the other hand, you're going to have the Cleveland media that they're happy to get Shedeur Sanders, and anything that Shedeur Sanders does in practice or whatever, they're going to highlight that a lot. And then on the third thing of this is Dillion Gabriel. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ask to be a Cleveland Brown. I'm sure he's hyped for the opportunity and ready to compete. He's been saying all the right things. Okay, he hasn't looked horrible at practice. I know they're saying that he threw a couple picks. It's mini camp. You're learning the playbook and everything like that. And at the end of the day, you hope the best for Shedeur Sanders. As much as I'm rooting for Shedeur Sanders, right? As much as I want him to do well and excel, it's still a competition that he has to prove, like he said, prove himself right, but prove his coaching staff right. And then also, too, is that you have a guy in Dillion Gabriel who feels just as confident probably as Shedeur Sanders and feels that he deserves an opportunity to get a chance to compete for whatever slot and in the pecking order of these quarterbacks, and also to eventually start one day, right? So only time will tell, but it is sad in a way for Dillion Gabriel, because he has to be in the shadow, right? And I think that they didn't want the media attention. I feel like anywhere Shedeur Sanders had went, it would have been this type of media attention, right? And it makes you think, even if Shedeur Sanders was taken in the first round or taken in the top 10, it would have been really all eyes on Shedeur Sanders, right? But the fact that Shedeur Sanders is getting all this attention as a 5th round pick, I'm not surprised by it, but it does make you think, like, that's crazy that this is, I've never seen a 5th round pick get nitpicked. But let's be real here, though. He's not really a 5th-round pick, right? Whatever reason, how he didn't perform in interviews and didn't participate in a lot of the NFL activities, that's where they decided to drop him. Even though for at least I can say, I think for me, he definitely didn't look like a 5th-round talent. So that is going to bring attention. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even Shedeur Sanders played it well. They asked him a question about the jersey, and he played it well. He came from wearing number 2 at Colorado, and then there was another guy on the team, I forgot his name, that had number 2, and it was like, oh, you're not going to do the traditional way of buying it. He's like, no, I don't have that kind of money yet. You know what I'm saying? It was funny. But again, Shedeur Sanders is media savvy. He's going to be fine in handling it. I just hope that Dillion Gabriel, he's handling it too, but I hope that, let's give these guys a chance, right? I think I can already there's a weird underswell I'm starting to see with some of the content I'm seeing out here with the immediate comparison to Dillion Gabriel. And I feel like there's a little negative tone towards Dillion Gabriel. Right, and he's another young man trying to make his NFL dreams come true. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hold off on the Shedeur Sanders and Dillion Gabriel comparison. You know what? I'm excited to see the competition for both these guys. And if Dillion Gabriel happens to be a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders, it's not the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? If his play warrants him being ahead of him in the pecking order of quarterbacks in the backup rotation, then so be it, man. But tough spot for Dillion Gabriel, man, in the Shedeur circus. But again, circus has negative connotation, but that's what it is right now, and I think that's what a lot of teams were definitely trying to avoid. But you can't like a guy, the way he played, the way he fell, and he's getting a lot of attention because people know he's been a good quarterback. If Shedeur Sanders was really that bad in the NFL, right? Nobody, and he fell if he was really that bad in college, he would not be getting his attention, right? I mean, yeah, Shedeur Sanders, it would be more talks of, can he develop? Can he be able to grow into an NFL quarterback? You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, people see the talent. People definitely believe that he can be a starter one day. It's just a matter of when, not if. So there's that. Man, tough spot for Dillion Gabriel. Let me know what y'all think so far with just all the noise with the comparison to Dillion Gabriel and how Dillion Gabriel was handling himself being in the shadows of Shedeur Sanders. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.